Well, this is my second Beyond Body experience in a row. I had my other one yesterday, and I have already recorded that episode. This is a brand new one, and I find myself at this moment trying to kind of keep my excitement down because I this experience was different than the others. I believe there was much more clarity in this experience, and I think this lasted a bit longer than the others. And I think that there was a secret behind that. There was something that I did that I will get into as I tell you about the experience. But let me begin with the experience. Let me begin by getting right into it and telling you what happened. And just to remind you, those of you who haven't seen all of my episodes on the Beyond Body, this stuff usually happens to me when I'm tired. And I was up last night writing, and I don't even know if you could say it was last night. It was actually really, really early this morning. I was working on something. I was writing something because I do some freelance writing. And I went ahead, went to bed. It was about, gosh, what time was it? It was fairly late. It was like somewhere between 5:30 and 6 a.m. Somewhere in there, 5:30, 6 a.m., perhaps a little bit earlier than that. Actually, you know what? It was more like 5 o'clock in the morning. I decided to lay down, and I thought to myself, I'm gonna get some rest. I'm gonna get a little bit of rest, and I'm gonna go to work. So I shut my eyes, and of course, I'm always open to the possibility of something like this happening. And this is very, very important advice for those of you wanting to have more experiences in astral projection or anything else. Keep your mind open to it. Always think in your mind, if it doesn't happen, that's fine, not a problem, but I'm open to the idea of it happening, and it would be nice if it did. And that invites these experiences to come in. So it's a very, very important thing to remember. So that's basically what I was thinking when I laid down. I was like, okay, so I'm just gonna, open my mind up and see what happens. Now, it was fascinating because the first thing I saw was I felt as if I was watching, and again, this is going to sound kind of odd. I felt like I was watching an animated cartoon, like on television or something. But I was looking at a road, and it all seemed very cartoonish to me. It was a path. It was a white path, and on the sides of the path there was vegetative growth. There were trees and all kinds of other things. And I was just moving along this path. Now I knew that I wasn't completely asleep and I wasn't in a dream state, simply because I always know when this is the case. So I was seeing something and I wasn't sure exactly what I was seeing. As I was watching this, it almost seemed as if I was moving, almost as if I were gliding over this path. But again, it felt more to me like I was watching a television program, only because when I was seeing this, it had the kind of appearance as if it were a bit grainy or something. That's the only way I can describe it. Moments later, there was darkness, and then I felt movement. And it was that familiar beyond body movement that I always feel as I start this. And of course, in my mind, I always think, okay, here we go again. I don't know where I'm gonna end up. And in my mind, I remember thinking to myself, this is always exciting to me. It's interesting because in the past I've been like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I'm a little bit frightened, especially with this beyond body, because it is different than astral projection. But this time around, I was thinking, wow, I don't know what they're going to show me next. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but whatever it is, I'm into this. I really want to see what the next thing is going to be. So I just wrote it out. I was relaxed. I was like, okay, let's see what's going to happen. And so the darkness dissipates, and suddenly I am in what I believe to be a courtroom setting. Now, the reason why is because, and I don't know how many of you have ever been in an actual courtroom before, you have the area where the audience consider the people that are observing the courtroom, then you have the jury, maybe on the left or right side, not sure. Then in the center, down the way, you have the judge and the bench, and then, of course, you have the area where the attorneys are sitting, one on the right, one on the left, defense, prosecution, that sort of thing. With this, the one thing I noticed was, number one, there were many seats, many seats that I saw, and they were different colors, blue, yellow, whatever. There were all these different colors with these seats, and they were all ahead of me. And I remember that was one of the first things I noticed. One of the first things I noticed were all of these seats that were there in this place. And I noticed way kind of in the sort of push back in the backdrop, I noticed that there was a bench where you would normally see a judge. There was someone, I think, sitting there, but I couldn't make out their features too much. And behind them, there was this, you know how you have you have that plaque or whatever in the backdrop, it's like justice or something like that. Not sure if I'm getting this correct or not, but there was something in the backdrop that represented justice or like some symbol there, and I can't remember exactly what the symbol was. Now, this was fascinating because I thought to myself, okay, I looked over the scene. There were people there, people of all different nationalities. I think I saw an Asian man kind of in front of me, and there were other people that were kind of gathering to sit down. But I thought, you know what? First thing I'm going to do, which is one of the first things I always do when I'm in the beyond body situation, is I got to find out where I am and what's going on. But I did spend some time just watching people gathering and sitting down in these different seats. I think getting ready for some sort of trial maybe. But again, those of you who know a courtroom, you know that there are seats, but there aren't a lot of seats. Not at least in the local courts. But this place had a number of seats for people that were observing. A number of seats. I mean, also, I have to keep this in mind, and this is just kind of popping in my mind as I go. This may not have been an area for observation. Number one, I don't believe that I was in the same universe as I exist in here when I was in this place. So that's the first thing. There could be all kinds of different things. This could be a parallel universe, and it, in my opinion, more than likely is a parallel universe, and things have a different look to them. Perhaps this was the area where people are tried. Maybe people are tried together in a group. I don't know. Many theories could be there, but I just sat there observing it for a moment. As I said, though, I thought, okay, I want to get out and see this place. I want to get out and see this world. And I never know when these experiences are going to end, But thankfully, it kept going as I was walking off. I walked off and then I exited out of this, I guess, courtroom. And as I came out, I noticed that there was another passageway. Now, I didn't come out um, into a waiting area or a place where you might see, I don't know, benches or whatever. Normally if you come out of a courtroom, there's an area where people are coming in and out. And there was something like that here, but it was way different than what you would see in the local courts, or at least what I've seen in the local courts. I saw another area that looked like it went into, literally, I swear to you, looked like it went into like a store, a place of business where people would shop, like a retail shop. And I noticed that there were people coming out. I believe there was at least one person that came out with bags, like they were coming out from shopping. And I was thinking, what an odd place to put a store. Because in all the places, all the courtrooms ever been in or seen, I've never seen like a retail store connected to it. I just haven't. Normally, it's just set off for courtrooms or places for jewelries or whatever. There's normally, or maybe there are vendors like are outside, like there is a court that I know of that's kind of near my house, sort of, but I'm referring to the Van Nuys Court area where there are some vendors that sell hot dogs and food here and there, but there are no full-fledged stores like a Macy's or a Target or something like that. What I'm telling you is that I didn't see the actual inside of the store, but there is definitely, or was definitely, a store of some sort connected to this place. I was like, wow, that's interesting. So I kept walking, and there were people coming in to this area from the outside, and there was a gentleman that looked as if he was some sort of security. He was black and he was wearing a hat. I saw him from behind. And I believe he was just helping people to go in. And I thought, this guy is good enough to ask, because I have to tell you that the whole time I was looking around and I was going, who can I ask where I am, what this place is? So when I saw him, I thought, okay, I can ask him. I said, excuse me. Now, this was a moment where I lost track of time and I'm not sure what happened. There was a moment where I was trying to ask him, to get his attention, actually, to just get his attention first and try and ask him, where am I? What's going on? But there was a moment that I lost time. It was almost as if there was like a cut, I don't know how to describe it. Can I say a cut? Like in film, you cut to something, or when someone's editing something, it was like there was something jumped, because before I knew it, there was a young boy and he was standing near me, and he was looking up at me, and I almost think he may have been trying to hold my hand. My theory is that this may have been my guide that was kind of watching over me. And what I think may have happened was that may have not been the right person to ask, and he may have taken me away from that moment. Just the theory. I don't know what it was that actually happened with this. This is just something I'm theorizing, but that's what I think may have happened, because I was looking at this kid going, who is it? But my guides have frequently appeared to me as kids. So my theory with this is that this may have been a guide who was watching over me, who may have pulled me out of something that I may not have wanted to be in. Still, though, I hadn't lost the connection with whatever world this was. I don't remember what my exchange with this child, maybe guide, was. I think it was something very brief. I don't remember the exact words. But then in my mind, I kept thinking, okay, I want to continue because I want to find out what this world is. So I saw a lady coming out, I think, of the area where I thought there may have been a store or some sort of thing like that. And she looked friendly enough. Again, these are all strangers to me, so I don't know anyone. I have no idea who these people are. So I go up to this lady. I think she was blonde. That's what I remember about her. I believe she had blonde hair and she may have been wearing a red shirt. Other than that, I don't remember much. Again, when I come back from these things many times, my memory starts to fade as soon as it happens. That's why I like to get on and start to record immediately so that I can let you guys know, hey, look, this is what happened to the best of my memory. I do remember a red shirt of some sort. I do remember blonde hair, but I don't remember too much more. So I stopped her and I said, excuse me, excuse me. And I think I said, excuse me, like 2 or 3 times until I got her attention. I said, and I'm sure I must have, maybe, I always think I sound mad or crazy to people that I'm speaking to in these places, because I always imagine that their reaction is going to be what your reaction might be if I approached you and said, by the way, what world are we on? Because you would look at me like I was crazy, like, of course we're on Earth. Anyway, I wanted to ask her because I'm thinking to myself, how else am I going to find out if this is Earth or some other world? So I asked her, what world is this? And I think she paused for a second. And she said the word Tehran. But the way she said it was a very strange way. It was almost in another language when she said it. It was like I didn't understand what she was saying. And when I come to think about it, I didn't necessarily have a verbal conversation with anybody in this world. So this was the first real contact I'd have with someone. And when she spoke, her voice sounded a little strange when she said it. She said something along the lines of Tehran. And it was in that same way. It was like, Tehran. Almost like that. And I don't know what Tehran is, but I asked her, I think 2 or 3 times after she said it, because she said Tehran, and I said, what? And she said Tehran, and like I say, in a way, it was hard or difficult for me to understand what she was talking about, because it was in a language, and even in a way that I had never heard. It was very difficult for me to understand. So, but after I'd asked her, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, finally, I lost my grasp on this world, and suddenly I was back. I opened my eyes and I jumped up and I just ran to my computer because I wanted to share this with you. This was one of the more extraordinary experiences I've had. And wow. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on another journey with me. I'm gonna have to get to work now, but I may do a follow-up video with this just to talk about my thoughts after this is all done. For now, I'm gonna end it. And until next time, take care.